Real quick, before we get into the show, I wanted to share a new service called Getita that Ken and I have been using that has made us over $10,000 in Amazon reimbursements. The service requires no monthly subscription, and Getita collects a small percentage of the money they recover for you. It takes less than 5 minutes to set up and works on all Amazon marketplaces. Go to Getita.com, Getida, and enter promo code FTM400. That's FTM for Firing the Man 400 to get your first $400 in reimbursements commission free. How much money does Amazon owe you?
He never put Diggino and Kenny. I put Kenny and Diggino.
One of our 5 core pillars is make everything personal. Make a personal connection with our customers. Once you believe in that, then it becomes manifest in everything you do. So the package that you get, the way we answer the phone. If you're a customer and you call us, there's no script. Nobody's getting timed. It's an actual human conversation.
I learned from him because he follows my strengths. How I become learning all the time. I do learning I learn curve all the time, and
you're always learning.
I'm always learning.
That's a good thing.
He believes me. He's so inspiring.
Welcome everyone to the Firing the Man podcast, a show for anyone who wants to be their own boss. If you sit in a cubicle every day and know you are capable of more, then join us. This show will help you build a business and grow your passive income streams in just a few short hours per day. And now your hosts, serial entrepreneurs David Schomer and Ken Wilson.
Welcome, everyone, to the Firing the Man podcast. On today's episode, we are joined by John and Mark Cronin, founders of John's Crazy Socks. John's Crazy Socks is a father-son venture inspired by co-founder John Lee Cronin, a young man with Down syndrome. Mark and John have been featured on CBS Evening News, Fox and Friends, and Business Weekly, as well as featured keynote speakers at several business conferences around the world. John and Mark have bootstrapped their e-commerce enterprise to the point where they have reached more than $13 million in revenue. The awareness programs that are embedded into the company's culture is truly inspiring and spreading happiness everywhere. Welcome to the show, Mark and John.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate being here.
Yeah, Ken, we're glad to be here. Let's go fire the man.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, yeah, let's get going. So tell us a little bit about yourself and your story and your journey.
Well, you want to introduce us?
I start. My name is John. This is my partner, my co-founder, my dad, Mark S. Cronin. We are John's Crazy Socks.
What's our mission?
We are John's Crazy Socks.
Yeah, but what's our mission?
Spreading happiness.
Spreading happiness. So I'll do a quick intro to John, Ken. You're many things. You're an entrepreneur?
Yes, I am.
You're now a sock tycoon?
Yes.
You're a dancer?
Yes.
You're an athlete?
Yes, I am.
Let's see. You are a philanthropist?
Yes.
You're a public speaker?
Yes.
You got a girlfriend, so that makes you a boyfriend?
Yes, I am. I'm very smooth.
And you happen to have Down syndrome?
Yes, I am. I have Down syndrome. Down syndrome never hold me back.
And this is key. John is a lot of things, including having Down syndrome. But the Down syndrome doesn't define him and doesn't limit him.
Absolutely.
And that's part of what we're always trying to show, is look what people with different abilities can do.
I am born differently.
Yeah, you were born differently. That's all, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty good. So, how did we get started? How did we get into this? Well, the story starts in a small log cabin in the woods.
No.
It's out on suburban Long Island outside New York City. And we normally talk about where John was at. We'll come to that.
Okay.
But given the nature of your show and your audience, it's relevant where I was at. I had been working in what had become our family business. My wife had a business and I'd come in to help run it. And for various reasons, we had to shut that business down overnight.
I work with my dad.
You worked in that office too.
Yeah.
So there I was, 58 years old, no income. What are we going to do? And we were talking off air beforehand. I had started and run multiple businesses, so I was unemployable. I couldn't go work for somebody else. So I was starting some online businesses, and this is the fall of 2016. And John, where were you?
I got to be my last year. I had school. I got to be my last year of school.
So he's trying to figure out, what do I do when I'm done with school? And what were you looking at?
I look at job, program, and school. I don't like something I don't like.
And this is unfortunate. And it's a reality for too many people that have a differing ability. There just aren't enough options out there. Only 1 in 5 people with a disability are employed in the U.S. So John couldn't find anything. But John here, he's a natural entrepreneur.
Yes, I am.
You didn't see a job you wanted? What were you going to do?
I said, I want to create one. I want to make one.
What'd you tell me?
I said, I want to go into business with my dad. A nice father and son business together.
Which was pretty cool, right? I'm starting some things, and, in some ways I thought I had to help John, but he was helping me, saying, hey, let's go do this together. So, okay, we were going to start a business. And you work with entrepreneurs all the time. Entrepreneurs always have ideas. Now, some of them are good ideas. So, what was one of your ideas for the business, John?
One of them is a food truck, a idea from the movie Chef and John Favreau. The movie about a father and son fighting a food truck.
So a food truck sounded like a fun idea. I mean, Ken, if you were to start a food truck, what would you make? What would you sell?
Probably hot dogs.
Okay. Well,
I love hot dogs.
We think about what we could make, but we ran into a problem.
We can't cook.
Yeah, we can't cook. So, but it wasn't going to be a food truck. But then, right before Thanksgiving in 2016, U.S. Thanksgiving, John, you had your eureka moment.
I did. I want to sell crazy socks. Why socks? It's fun, it's colorful, it's creative. Always let me be me.
John wore these crazy socks his whole life. We used to drive around looking for them. So here's what we figured. If John loved them that much, surely other people would too. And we could find our tribe. So we eschewed the traditional business plan. And we said, let's test the idea. We'll go the lean startup route. So you already had the name.
Yep, I got my name, a website, I got my ideas.
We built a website on the Shopify platform. We got a little bit of inventory. We're bootstrapping, so you got to make do with what you have. So the only marketing we did was to set up a Facebook page. And I took out my cell phone and we made videos. And who do you think was in those videos?
I talk about socks. Socks, more socks.
And we noticed something. People started sharing those videos. So what day did we open?
We opened on a Friday, December 9th, 2016.
Right? We got up and going pretty fast. And we weren't sure what to expect. But that first day, we got what felt like a flood of orders. We got 42 orders. And most of them were local. We're in the town of Huntington. You were in the high school. That's where we lived. And what did we do with those first orders?
And we do a home delivery. We get red boxes like this.
We did. We got these red boxes. We put the socks in the box. And we looked at it and said, this needs something else. So what else did we put in?
I put a digging no arrow and candy.
We got bags of Hershey's Kisses and just started pouring them into boxes. Loaded up the car, and we drove around, and you knocked on doors delivering the socks, right?
Absolutely.
How'd the customers respond?
A customer loved it, and they took a picture and shared on social media. Would I get a spread?
We had people ordering again just to get John to come back to their house. And there was some nights we were out past 10 o'clock at night. John's knocking on doors. Just John here with your socks. Don't shoot. But by the end of that month, really 2 weeks, we had shipped 452 orders and had $13,000 in revenue. And we knew we had something. And we learned a few things.
Yeah. One, people want to buy socks. Two, people want to buy socks from me.
They related to John. They liked the personal touch of the home deliveries, the thank you notes, the candy. They liked the fact we had already pledged 5% of our earnings to the Special Olympics. And something that surprised us, we got a very emotional response from people, from families that had a child with Down syndrome or autism, or people knew someone, and they were inspired. And the other thing, you learn by doing. So we learned that this young man,
this old man, we could sell socks. So, that's how we got started.
Yeah, that's incredible. And so it sounds like, it was a good point in time for both of you to kind of start a new adventure, a new journey. Both of you kind of came together and I guess we're glad it wasn't a food truck. We're glad it was socks if you can't cook. I have to admit that I am also a fan of funny socks. I have funny socks, crazy socks. I have a whole drawer full of socks. And, my kids get me socks every year for Christmas. And I actually put my first order in this morning for a couple of pairs of John's Crazy Socks. So I'm excited to get those and see that card and that piece of candy in there. I think that is a huge touch.
But we appreciate the support, and one of the things that differentiates us, right? We told you we didn't do that business plan to start. But eventually you do. You go and do that market research. And we have discovered, we've counted, there are exactly 1 gazillion sock companies. So how do you stand out in the marketplace? Well, what differentiates us is our story and our mission. So when you buy those socks from us, you're going to get great socks. I mean, we have over 29,000 5-star reviews. And in fact, from those quite humble beginnings, how many different socks do we have now?
We have 4,000 different kinds of socks in English choices.
4,000, which means John here now owns the world's largest sock store. So you're going to get incredible socks. But when you buy from us, you enable us to employ people with different abilities. More than half of our colleagues have a different ability. You enable us to give back. We've now raised over $500,000 for our charity partners. You enable us to do advocacy work. And most of all, you spread happiness. You're going to love these socks, right? It'll put a smile on your face.
Yeah. Spreading happiness is huge. And I think we need more of that. Can you guys speak to a little bit about how you were able to bootstrap the business? And business is rough, and starting a business and growing it's really, really difficult. And so especially bootstrapping it without a lot of money. Can you share with the audience how you guys were able to do that?
Sure. And we can also tell you some of the downsides of that. So we were talking baseball before. You can be like the New York Yankees and have an endless amount of money, but too much money makes you stupid. If you don't have money, you got to be creative and you got to work. So we were, from the beginning, we knew what we were about. We knew what mattered, and we were hyper-focused on making sure the nuts and the bolts worked. That we had a good website and we had good inventory, that we had great service, that we took care of our customers. We went out and told the story to everybody we could, and we were very fortunate because we grew because customers told other people, and they became like our salespeople. And we also benefited from having some really great media exposure and some viral experiences. Though, as a business, watch what you ask for. You may get it. We had our first viral experience about 3 months into the business. And by that point, we had grown it nicely. And we were getting maybe 40 orders a day. Overnight, we got more than 1,000 orders. Because somebody put out a video about us. Not a particularly great video. They didn't film anything with us. It was a slideshow video. The last I looked at had over 20 million views.
Wow.
So that helps you grow, but it also almost put us out of business because it was so overwhelming. I mean, to give you an idea, and then, you just have to keep scrambling. We were in at that time, this old house that had been converted to office space. It was built in 1741. And when they say they don't build it like they used to, be grateful. There were undulating floors. If you got up from your chair, it would roll away. Tilted stairways, low ceilings. We would get deliveries, and there was no space for them. We would just line these boxes up on the sidewalk until we could create some space indoors. I remember going one night to Best Buy to get 2 more computers so we could have more packing stations. And I recruited 2 of their workers to come work for us the next day. So we had those ups and downs. We had a good story, and that led to folks sharing the story and giving us some coverage. But it also turns out socks are very seasonal. So we boomed in the spring. Nobody buys anything in the summer. We were running, I'm opening the kimono as it was. We were out of money in our first year. And I'm looking, because on paper it looks like we're making money. Where'd the money go? Well, it was in our warehouse in the form of inventory. Sales came back in the beginning in the fall. And in 2018, our second year, we had viral event and then media coverage, and we boomed. By our third year, same situation. We're growing, we're making money, we have no cash. By the end of our third year, we were almost out of business because we had bootstrapped and didn't have adequate financing. And we kissed a lot of toads. We had banks coming in here. Oh, we love you. We love your growth. And the fact you made a profit, we're not going to lend you any money. And we had investors coming in saying, oh, we love everything. But what they really wanted to do was to buy the brand and shut us down. And it was in the beginning. It was December of 19, and we signed a deal in February of 2020 with a strategic partner that gave us the manufacturing capability we needed and gave us some financial stability. So we did bootstrap it. We bootstrapped it to become a multi-million-dollar business. We did it by knowing who we were, by really driving that mission, by making sure that our operational capabilities were there. We did it, and that created some good fortune, but you have to be able to take advantage of that fortune. And in the end, we had to make sure we had adequate financing. That to really grow, bootstrapping alone was not going to work.
Mark, I'm glad that you shared, kind of that up and down journey, and, sharing with the audience, especially when you have a physical products business, any kind of physical products business, as you're growing and scaling, the cash, it seems like it just takes more and more cash to fuel the business. And it sounds like the sock business is almost seasonal too. And so you have spikes and downs and
horribly seasonal.
Yeah, I'm very glad to know that, you guys found a good strategic partner, that they were able to help with manufacturing and with financing. That's kind of a double whammy there. So that was good.
Sorry to interrupt the episode. You may have heard Ken and I talking recently about a new tool that we're using for Amazon refunds. Now, I have used other refund tools like this. However, I can tell you in the first 7 days, they scrubbed the back end of my Amazon account going back 18 months and found $5,000 of refunds. And the nice thing about this is, it's my money. Amazon made a mistake, and they are just auditing my account. The other thing I really like about this tool is there is no monthly fee. They only charge a commission if they are successful in getting you your money. Go to getida.com, Getida, and enter promo code FTM for Firing the Man, FTM400. This is an awesome tool. Can't say enough good things about it. Now, back to the episode.
My next kind of question is moving into the socks. Kind of, do you guys manufacture them? Can you talk a little bit about your? I saw on your website, the kind of the stocking portion of your business. Can you kind of share a little bit about that?
So when we started, we only sold other people's socks. And it was my partner here who got us into making our own. And what we did over time, we designed our awareness line of socks, which celebrate causes and raise money for those causes. So the first one was our Down syndrome awareness.
Yes.
And you designed that.
I did.
We contracted with mills to make those socks. So we dipped our toe, if you would, into manufacturing our own socks. So it was a combination of buying other people's socks, and we have 27 different I think of them as design houses, but distributors, plus our own. Now we are building out fully our own line of socks. And we could talk about the future, but that's enabling us to enter the wholesale channel. So in the beginning, we just sold other people's. Then we were contracting to make our own. Now we're developing our full line of socks in our name.
Okay. That's awesome. And it kind of sounds like, as you go through your journey, you're kind of pivoting into kind of what's a good fit for you at that stage of the business. So
yes, you can't do it all at once. So yeah, we have evolved as we go. We do have an aesthetic here of ready, fire, aim. Don't overthink things. You have to choose. Everything we do is a hypothesis. Everything we do, we think is going to work. And you've got to go forward, measure it, and what do you learn? How do you adapt? Do you have to pivot? What do if you're going to fail at some things, just fail fast. I'll give you one example with us. So it's now May of 2017. We've had this big surge, but things are slowing down because nobody buys anything in the summer. And we said, all right, well, one of the things we all along knew we would start at some point was a Sock of the Month Club, a subscription. We sat down, and within 10 days, we had designed up the web pages, figured out the inventory, the operations, added the technical capabilities. We were up and running. About 3 months later, one of our suppliers, who's also a direct competitor because they sell directly to consumers, started a Sock of the Month Club. Okay, so I got to talking to them, and they told me they'd been working on that for a year and a half. I said, what the hell were you doing? What could you possibly have been doing for a year and a half? So they're now getting started, but we were 3 months down the road. We had real customers, real revenue, and we were on our third iteration because we were able to tweak and adjust what we were doing. And I think that once you make a decision, go forward, take action. You got to watch your data. You got to keep learning from it, but you can't wait to make everything perfect.
Yeah. I definitely agree. And that is really good advice. Especially, Mark, you mentioned it was kind of the down season for the business. And you were kind of like, well, while we're in a slow season, let's start up some new ideas. Let's get some other stuff going. And that's it's kind of a perfect time for that. And that's really cool. Now, does that Sock of the Month Club, how is that doing now? You said that was 2017?
It's doing well. It's strong. It's an important part of our revenue.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really cool. And so one kind of pivoting over question for John. What does a typical work day look like for you?
My typical day is...
Well, first of all, do you ever have a typical day?
I do.
When? Are they all the same?
Yes.
No. What do you do?
I do videos. I do big engagement, interview, podcast. I like how about pick orders. I like how about gift wrapping. I like to home deliveries.
John, they used to say that James Brown was the hardest working man in showbiz. John's the hardest working man in sockdom. It's but you do so many different things.
I did.
Right? I mean, today, just look at today. You picked some orders?
I did.
Did you do any gift wrapping?
Yes.
You wrote some notes to customers?
Yes.
You're doing this podcast interview? We went over and met with a charity partner?
Right.
Right? And you're just getting started.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, it's John, you're a very, very busy man. That's a lot. You have a lot going on. Looks like John wears a lot of hats around the business there, switching from videos to home deliveries to pick and pack.
Well, what's your title?
My title is Chief Happiness Officer.
Chief Happiness Officer.
Nice.
And what's your role? You're the face of the business.
I'm the company.
Right? So he's got to be out there. And there are a lot of stories I could tell you about John. I'll tell you one, back in 2018, we business has taken off, and we're doing a lot of traveling. We do a lot of speaking engagements. And there must have been 5 or 6 weeks in a row where we didn't have a day off. We're traveling on weekends where we're all over the place. And I'm watching. I want to make sure John's okay and not getting run down and not missing home. And on one of these days, we hop in a taxi, and he looks at me and he says, "Dad, we have to talk." I go, "Oh, what's the matter?" He says, "It's too much. The planes and the hotels and the taxis and the trains. It's too much, Dad." I go, are you missing home? Are you tired? What's the matter?" He says, "No, I think we're spending too much money on all this." Well, John, do you realize that in most of these cases, somebody else is paying for the travel, and they're paying for us to come and speak? And he looks at me and says, "Oh, we should be doing more of it then."
I like that. Yeah, I really like that. Oh, that's classic right there. Well, cool. One other thing I'd like to touch on, which I think is very unique with John's Crazy Socks, is, providing opportunity to employees to come work there. Can you describe a little bit of that in the process there, how you provide opportunity for the local employees?
Well, it starts with, John, you have Down syndrome.
Yeah.
And this is part of our mission. We want to show what's possible. So that does start by us hiring people with different abilities. Be clear, we don't lower our standards. Everybody who works here has earned their job. And if you got to know us, Ken, you'd find out that John here is a very nice guy. But I am not. If you're going to work here, you got to produce. But, so we run our own pick and pack warehouse. We do our own fulfillment. Anybody who sells online, you either outsource it or you do it yourself. We do it ourselves because we want to personalize that delivery, but also because we're looking to create jobs. We have drawn from 3 basic labor pools: people with different abilities, moms, and some dads in there, because we schedule people in 4-hour shifts. So you can put your kid on the bus in the morning, work, and then pick your kid up in the afternoon from school. And the third group are laborers who are looking for a $15 an hour job. By far, the best labor pool for us are people with different abilities. But that's just the starting place. We then want to show the world. So we create content all the time with our colleagues. No broccoli, nothing your mother says, eat this is going to be good for you. We want to show people as they are. We host tours and work groups that come in here. That's one of the reasons we do so many speaking engagements. We'll speak at schools, but also business conferences. On one side, we want people to know, families and individuals with different abilities, look what's out there for you. And also to know that entrepreneurism is an option. But the other side of that is we want businesses to see, look how you can help yourself. We've done a couple of TEDx talks now, and the most recent one, the theme of it was hiring people with different abilities is not altruism. It's good business. That if you're willing to do that, you're going to have a competitive advantage. So that's very important to our mission.
Yeah, I really like that. And that 4-hour shift piece too it's a little bit different. It kind of gives flexibility to people that would otherwise not have that option. And so I really like that.
It works for everybody. It gives us flexibility in how we staff people, and how we staff up, particularly given the variability in our, in our ordering and in our processes. But it also enables people, if you're receiving benefits and you work too many hours, you lose those benefits. So that's really important for people with different abilities. And it speaks to a larger part about how we approach business. There was a time, Milton Friedman was famous for saying businesses only had one purpose, and that was to return money to their investors, to their owners. But we're in a different world now. And I think organizations, small and large, we have an obligation to all of our stakeholders, to our employees, to our community, to our, clearly to our customers, to our suppliers, as well as to our investors. And so you've got to have some mission or purpose that's greater than ourselves And it's more than just we want to make money. And don't get me wrong, we want to make money. John and I, we like to live indoors. But you got to have something greater than that. And that makes you, as a business, more sustainable. It enables us to create better experiences for our customers and for our colleagues.
Yeah, I really like that. And you described it very well as that, kind of the mission and your desire to kind of change the world. And whereas businesses are looked at, like you mentioned, of, hey, they're returning a profit to, the shareholders. And what you're saying is, businesses should help communities and grow and prosper at the same time, which I think more and more small businesses and large businesses should adapt to that. I really like that. One quick question I have for John. What does John's Crazy Socks do that Jeff Bezos or Amazon does not do?
Jeff Bezos, he never put Diggino and candy. I put candy and Diggino.
This comes back to you got to have the goods, right?
Yeah.
We do same-day shipping. We do better shipping than Amazon. But my partner here, every package is getting that thank you, Nancy.
And candy.
You see a picture, you'll get a sticker on your packing slip with the picture and the name of the person who packed your order. So, Jeff Bezos, he's not doing that. I don't know. But someday, maybe you'll go on a rocket ship like him.
I really like that. It's a differentiator, and for sure it has that extra little touch, that goes a mile, just connecting with your customers and, and showing them that, your level of customer service is just above and beyond.
If one of our 5 core pillars is make everything personal, make a personal connection with our customers. Once you believe in that, then it becomes manifest in everything you do. So the package that you get, the way we answer the phone, if you're a customer and you call us, there's no script. Nobody's getting timed. It's an actual human conversation. And our happiness creators know they can spend $200 on any customer, anytime, doing anything to take care of that customer. And it turns out that's good business. Or here's an example. I told you we do our own fulfillment. So one day, one of our packers comes and says, we sell socks for diabetics, these high compression socks, but we're sending them candy. What's wrong with that picture? So now we have a supply of sugar-free candy that goes with our packages if you order diabetic socks. If we get a package that comes in from a military address, we have a different package that goes out. It's just pay attention, treat people the way you want to be treated. Look for how can we wow folks. Yeah.
I really like that. Yeah. We need more of that for sure. The story is incredible. It's really inspiring. So what is in the future? What does the future hold in the next 3 to 5 years for John's Crazy Socks?
Our overall strategy is drive the mission, that drives the brand, that drives revenue. So the mission is content-based, and in fact, we're creating more content. We now have a podcast. What's that podcast called?
A Spreading Happiness Podcast.
A Spreading Happiness Podcast
Awesome.
With John and Mark, right? 30 minutes of listening to us banter and share some good news, tell some jokes, just designed to make you feel good. And what do you host every Tuesday afternoon?
I was a dance party every Tuesday.
John hosts an online dance party every Tuesday afternoon. So we just announced the winner of our Autism Can Do Scholarship. We have a program we're rolling out called JCS Champions, where we're going to put people with a differing ability into their own business by giving them a business in a box. And we, over 5 years, want to create 1,000 businesses. So it's drive that mission. And then we want to be everywhere our customers are so that they can see us on TikTok or YouTube or at our website. And we want to be wherever they want to buy from us. So to date, it's been through our website, but now we have B2B services that we're growing. We've really had these for 4 or 5 years, companies call us up and they want us to make custom socks for them or get gift packages. We have a charity fundraising program. We're very smart people. After 4 years of doing this, we said, what do you think would happen if we actually marketed those services? So we're growing that line of business, and we're entering the wholesale channel. So our target was to be selling wholesale by the fourth quarter. We're already selling on Zappos. Macy's.com is going to start carrying us. And in the fourth quarter of this year, we're going to be in 856 Kohl's stores. So, the next 3 to 5 years, it's growing out our own line, creating more content, finding more ways to reach people, and being in more places so they can buy our products.
That's excellent. That is a lot. That is making me dizzy thinking about all that stuff you guys are going to accomplish. So it sounds like, John, you and your partner are going to be busy.
Yes.
Is that a good thing?
Yeah, Dad.
You like that, don't you?
I do.
Awesome. Well, so we're at the point in our podcast where we do what's called a fire round, and where I ask 3 or 4 questions. Are you ready, John?
Okay.
Yes, all right.
What is your favorite pair of socks?
My favorite sock is a download from Superhero Socks.
Awesome.
And who designed
What are your
those
hobbies?
socks?
And my design.
You designed those with your face on it.
Yes.
Awesome. What are your hobbies, John?
Dance and Paralympics.
There's a lot of Special Olympic sports.
Okay. Awesome.
Plus, you're a Jet fan and a Met fan. It's a good time to be a Jet fan and a Met fan.
I like to be a surfer.
That's awesome. All right. Last question for you, John. What is your favorite thing that you like about working with your dad?
My favorite work with my dad. I've been together. I'm doing our podcast, and I learn from him.
That's pretty nice.
I learn from him because he does. He follow my strengths. How I become learn all the time. I do learn I learn from all the time, and
you're always learning.
I'm always learning.
That's a good thing.
He believes me. He's so inspiring.
That's awesome. Yeah, very cool. Learning a lot, huh? Same question for Mark. What is your favorite thing you like about working with your son?
Well, it's one of the reasons you have kids. He carries stuff.
Yes.
but I admire John. I mean, he mentions it. He's always coming up the learning curve. He is the real entrepreneur. He sees what others might see as a dead end or a challenge. That just becomes an opportunity that he can problem solve. And we're so incredibly fortunate to get to do what we do and to be able to share some of these experiences with my son. We've testified twice before the U.S. Congress. To be sitting there in the U.S. Capitol and to do that with my son, how awesome. Just how awesome. I am a very fortunate man. Right, buddy?
Yeah, Dad.
That's awesome. Yeah. Really want to thank you both, John and Mark, for being on the Firing Man podcast. Your story is truly inspiring, and I'm really glad we get to share it with our audience today. How can the guests contact you guys?
You can find us at johnscrazysocks.com. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and find us on TikTok.
You like making those TikTok videos?
And we do our podcast is the Spring Happiness Podcast with John and Mark. You can find us on every platform.
So it's johnscrazysocks.com. And, the plug is you're going to get great socks. But on top of that, you're going to help us hire people with different abilities. You're going to help us give back. You're going to spread happiness. You can find that podcast on every platform. And you can find us on every social media channel. I know.
I will explain it.
Our TikTok. I know. I'm repeating. That's okay. The TikTok is blowing up. People love seeing John dancing on TikTok.
Yes.
That's what the kids say. Blowing up.
That's awesome. Yeah. So we'll put links to all those in the show notes. And definitely, if you're listening to this, make sure you go to johnscrazysocks.com. Go listen to John on Spreading Happiness podcast, and go definitely check out the those dance moves on TikTok and the other socials. So appreciate you guys being on the show today.
Thank you very much,
Thank you
Ken.
so much, Ken.
Let's go fire the man.
Fire man.
Awesome.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to today's Firing the Man podcast. If you like this episode, head on over to firingtheman.com and check out our resource library for exclusive Firing the Man discounts on popular e-commerce subscription services. That is firingtheman.com/resource. You can also find a comprehensive library of over 50 books that Ken and I have read in the last few years that have made a meaningful impact on our business. For that, head on over to www.firingtheman.com/library. Lastly, check us out on social media at Firing the Man and on YouTube at Firing the Man for exclusive content. This is David Schomer.
And Ken Wilson.
We're out. Before you go, we wanted to share a new service that Ken and I have been using called Getita that has made us over $10,000 in Amazon reimbursements. The service requires no monthly subscription, and Getita collects a small percentage of the money they recover for you. It takes less than 5 minutes to set up and works on all Amazon marketplaces. Go to Getita.com, Getida.com, and enter promo code FTM400. That's FTM for Firing the Man 400 to get your first $400 in reimbursements commission free. How much money does Amazon owe you?